There are tough players and nice guys, and I'm a tough player. That's daily Bobby Fischer quote to start out. Day 5, Journey to World Chess Champion. Bobby Fischer is one of my largest inspirations, and today I just picked up Bobby Fischer, My 60 Memorable Games. This is one of the books that he wrote, and he annotated 60 of his most memorable games. I've read the book, I've gone through all the games, but I had lost my copy. So today, obviously the last 2 days have been quite hectic and a lot of drama, but all these setbacks have only motivated me more to keep training and to work harder. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me, and I've gone to books, the wealth of knowledge. Bobby Fischer was known to have read every single book in the world. So we've got Bobby Fischer, My 60 Memorable Games. This is great if you're a chess learner. We have Chess Endings, Fundamental Chess Endings, quite a legendary book by Carsten Mueller, quite a famous endgame. Another book from Carsten Mueller, Endgame Magic. Got to work on those endgames. We have 3 of Agard's books, Grandmaster Preparation Calculation, Grandmaster Preparation Thinking Outside the Box, Grandmaster. I've gone through most of these books, but not in full detail yet. I want to sort of rekindle it. Then I have, of course, Boris Gelfand, a complete legend. I have all 4 of his books from his series, Decision Making in Chess. He made it to the World Championship Finals. Super strong player, great thought process. And then we have another Agard book, a Shanklin book. We have a Matthew Sadler book, Game Changer, talking about engines and influence on chess. Could be interesting to learn how to study using the engines and certain engines to use, and how Leela and Stockfish and everything is different. And then we have a chess clock, of course, and we even have this book, celebration of 85 years. So of course all these books are very interesting. I think that a lot of players nowadays are just sitting on their computer, pressing space bar, trying to find the latest opening idea, trying to memorize. Or the king just broke. That reminds me of one time that someone broke my king. But I really believe that there's so much knowledge to be had here, and I've had a very unusual upbringing as a chess player. From around 2350 to 2650, I did not have a coach at all. I never had any formal training, any second or coach, or I really was completely clueless. And around 2650, I started working with a couple people, which obviously helped me break through 2700. But I think that some perhaps basic chess education that some people have might be missing, and of course to work on calculation and endgames, which calculation has been maybe lacking at times, probably due to fatigue, and of course chess is becoming even harder to win, so you have to sort of take things into the endgame and put pressure on your opponent for as long as possible. So I'm really looking forward to going back through some books I've already read and exploring books that I've always wanted to read. Again, there's a bit of a Fischer theme for today's video. Fischer is my greatest inspiration. Actually, I have more books of Fischer. They're probably upstairs. But Fischer is my greatest inspiration, and I really am very proud to be an American chess player, and an American-born chess player at that. I really hope to represent my country soon at the Olympiad eventually, and to make my country proud, and to show that chess is cool in America. And what Fischer did for chess was truly groundbreaking, and I really hope to work hard and to unlock my potential as a chess player. So in today's video, I apologize for how I said it. Perhaps I should smile creepily in the camera, but we're going to be going through a game of Fischer that I really liked and was inspired by. We're going to be going through the first game that he won against Boris Spassky, and this was the first time he beat the world champion, and that is a pretty momentous moment. I also remember when I beat the world champion, and it was certainly not equally momentous moment, but for me it was quite meaningful and changed a lot of things in my life. So I really appreciate that you guys are following this journey. Not only do you get insight, but it's great for your own chess improvement. We're going to be discussing books, analyzing games, some insight into my workout routine. I'm sort of doing Ironman, like triathlon training. So I'm running, biking and swimming every single day. Sauna, cold showers and everything. So I used to do triathlons when I'm younger, so I'm trying to balance a lot of cardiovascular training to build sort of mental endurance and I really would like to go back to competing in triathlons and perhaps an Ironman. So I really think that to reach the highest level of chess, if you look at old clips of Bobby Fischer, he loved to play sports. There's photos of him swimming and playing ping pong. I might have a ping pong table installed with like a ping pong robot so that I can play ping pong against the robot. I don't need, because as a chess player, I have no friends, of course. So I don't have anyone to play ping pong with. So I will, I'm really taking everything very seriously and trying to work as hard as possible and not leaving any stone unturned. So, again, there have been some very unfortunate setbacks, but I'm going to be playing every single tournament in Europe that I can. Any tournament that will let me play and that does not deny my registration, I will be there. Every single opportunity that I will get, I'll make the most of it, and it is possible for me to persevere despite all of the attacks on me. It is possible because there's no excuse, and I just have to play the best chess in the world, and I have to work hard, and I have to do what's necessary. So, in 2 weeks, I'm playing a tournament in Tunisia, um, which is a 8-player round robin, 7 games. There'll be a bit of a break, but hopefully, starting in April, there'll be a lot more tournaments that I can play. Some open events, but again, I don't get invitational, so I'm gonna have to just go to the open tournaments, where I'm one of the top seeds, and I'm just gonna have to win every tournament I play, and there won't be any margin for error. There will be a lot of very difficult competition, a lot of underrated young competition, but that's just how it is, and I'm not gonna make excuses, and I'm gonna persevere. So I hope you guys enjoy the game that I'm about to analyze. I'm gonna go back on my computer, and I will see you in I guess tomorrow, which will be day 6 journey to World Chess Champion.
So, as you guys have seen in the intro, my Bobby Fischer quote, we're going to be continuing with a daily quote from Bobby Fischer. And as I mentioned, we're going to be analyzing his first victory against the then world champion, Boris Spassky. This victory was an absolutely historic moment. And this was when the tide changed and he was going to win this match. Some information to you guys about this match. It was in 1972. It was probably one of the most famous, televised, watched, not just chess events, but sporting events in the history of the world. It was followed. It was such a big thing. It reached such levels of importance because it was essentially the Cold War playing out between Russia and America. And for Bobby Fischer and all of his antics to win this match was something that can never be repeated. And it all started with this game. And I want to show you this game because I have some experience defeating world champions. But we're going to look at how Fischer beat his first world champion. So it started out d4 and out of 6. And let's note that this was the second game of the match. The first game, Spassky won, and it's the famous, I'll just show the famous bishop. He trapped his own bishop by taking on h2. This is quite famous. And his bishop got trapped. And he was still drawing, but he lost the game. But anyways, so you start with a Benoni, very aggressive, very fighting line. Something that's gone out of fashion because of how strong the engines are. d5, knight c3, g6, fianchetting the bishop, knight e2, knight d7, e4, castles, castles, rook e8, queen c2, and here comes a move that is, will go down in history in h5. And the move looks quite unusual because, of course, the white's instinct is just to play bishop takes h5, pawn takes h5, and double these pawns, open up the king. But Fischer really had the presence of mind and was truly ahead of his time to realize that the bishop pair was actually more important, and he was completely fine, weakening his position. So Spassky took, he went knight c4, knight came d5, knight went back to e3. Again, this sort of is closing, the bishop's closed. He does have the potential f5 score, but the bishop is defending it. And here Fischer starts to continue with his initiative. He plays queen h4. And again, Black has the two bishops. Knight is very active. Bishops have good scope. It's not clear what this bishop is doing. But White's pieces aren't really that, well coordinated. Bishop d2, knight comes to g4, forcing take, and now pawn takes. Now you fix the pawn structure. Now you have the two bishops, and you have the initiative. Bishop f4, queen back to f6, g3 protecting the bishop. Now bishop d7, stopping knight to b5, and also preparing b5. a4 stopping this. Now b6. You don't want to commit with a6 because then they'll go a5, and you can never play b5 because of en passant. So it goes b6, stopping a5 because of b5, and simply being patient, asking Spassky what he wants to do. Rook fe1, a6 again, preparing b5. If you get b5 and then b4, not only will the knight have to move, and we can potentially make the e4 pawn weak, the queen and the b2 could be a weakness. So rook e2, b5, rook e1. Now that the queen goes to g6. Again, white was preparing the breakthrough with e5, but now obviously you trade the queens and then recapture the pawn. So now you have a threat of b4. You have the two bishops. You can again this pawn on e4 is especially weak because white has played g3, and now there's no f3 because you can just take. And now all these light squares could potentially be weak. If you open up the position, and this bishop, on d7 can become an absolute monster. So b3, rook e7, queen d3, rook b8. Again, the pawn was attacked. Obviously, you don't want to go rook e8 now because you can take the pawn. So again, improving the position, angling for, double, but you still go rook b8, be patient. Pawn takes b4, c4, queen d2, and now rook e8. So now you're putting a lot of pressure. You're attacking this pawn 3 times, and it's defended 3 times, but you're attacking the defender. And if you ever take this pawn and this bishop becomes active and the queens come active, if this e4 pawn collapses, the d5 pawn collapses. If the d5 pawn collapses, you got 2 connected passed pawns, and this king will be, weak for the rest of the game. So rook e3, h5 again. He's patient. White is stuck. White can't move the knight. Bishop can't move. So you can go h5, h4, h3. You're very patient. Rook back to e2, king to h7, slowly improving his position. There's no need to rush. Rook e3, king to g8, rook e2. Now, he was contemplating whether the king is safer on h7 or g8, but probably the king on g8, there might be some checks on this diagonal, so he preferred the king on h8. So king g8, he takes, he goes rook e4, everything is traded, and now, for example, if you take, I would presume that you can just take back on d5. Let's say the bishop moves back, and now, okay, first of all, you have check. If king here, bishop c6, and I don't know, anywhere the bishop moves, or if you protect it, I just give a check and check. So that means I'm taking, okay, bishop h6 trying to create a threat. Queen just goes back to g6. Again, now, if the bishop tries to go back, you give a check. And you give another check. And then you can just come back, you take the pawn. You can also go bishop f5, just to bring in the bishop. Again, white is just getting mated. So in this position, let me go back to the game, sorry. He goes in, brings the bishop in, gives a check, check, back. Again, you can't really go here because of check, 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 mate. So that means you're going to get a pawn to c3 and then c2, and then you're going to start, taking all these pawns. Queen d4 check, and basically the game is over because, okay, for example, you go here, I can just take a pawn for starters. If you go up, I can go in, I'm threatening to take this, threatening mate. So this was a really dominant game. I guess the critical moment was in the opening, making this fateful trade, and you see how your decisions in the opening have really impactful consequences. Like Fischer had the presence of mind on move 12 to know that on move 41, trading that bishop would be the destruction and would be the complete downfall of White's position. So it showed a level of depth that shows true genius, especially before engines. It's truly mesmerizing. So this is really, Fischer's my biggest inspiration, and as you see on this video, I have a lot of books about him, and I've talked about the books I've read, and I'm going to start doing a daily Fischer quote of the day. Because that's my biggest inspiration and his work ethic. And there's not really another American role model for me to look up to, considering the current American players. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This series has gotten amazing support. It's ups and downs. I can't wait to go back to more tournaments and document the tournaments. I'm going to give you guys more insight into my physical training, give you more insight into the books I'm reading, so you guys can improve yourself. But again, I'm going to be consistent with this, and I'm not going to stop this journey. I'm not going to start documenting it. I'm here for the long haul, and this is me dedicating myself for the rest of my life to the game I love. So I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and keep following the series.